Mike Tyson's ex-knockout victim was brutally beaten in catastrophic comeback. In worrying news for legends, Jake Paul fight. Donovan Ruddock's comeback fight in 2015 may serve as a warning from Mike Tyson ahead of his meeting with Jake Paul. Ruddock remarkably jumped back in the ring in a series of professional fights at the age of 51 in 2015, but 14 years out the ring, to accepting a series of fights at domestic level. Like Tyson, who will face Paul on November 15th. He was way past his heyday in the professional ranks, having retired in 2001. 4 years before Iron Mike did the same. His initial return went well, beating 45-year-old journeyman Raymond Olibo Whale and 37-year-old Eric Barrack, before meeting his third match in Dylan Carman for the Canadian heavyweight title. Carman was just 29 years of age, 22 years Ruddock's junior, and was the biggest punching of his opponents on the comeback trail. Immediately became clear that Razor had made a huge mistake by returning way past his prime. The iconic heavyweight found himself on the back foot as soon as proceedings began, finding himself down on the scorecards after 2 rounds. As the third round began, concerns were raised as he looked well out of his depth, and the breakthrough came for his rival. Ruddock looked off balance and physically struggling, which saw him caught by 2 thunderous right hands in the corner of the ring. They found the target through a non-existent guard, and Donovan was sent crumpling into the ropes in a first knockdown. The 51-year-old was on borrowed time, and Carman upped the ante on his helpless opponent, starting to really let his hands go. But the final blow was damaging for Ruddock, who was left flat on his back, barely moving. Another right hand crushed the temple. Ruddock was unable to rise, and it was a sad ending for the heavyweight veteran, who had such a glistening career in his prime. The powerful hitter had been a tough examination for Iron Mike in their 2 fights, with their first meeting in 1991 stopped in controversial fashion. As a result, the pair rematched in an epic 12-round encounter later that year, where the pair ended with brutal injuries. But Tyson dominated and took the decision on the judges' scorecards. But in his comeback, Razor looked a shadow of his former resilient self that he displayed against Iron Mike. And that serves a tough message for Tyson, who himself has announced that he will make an astonishing full professional comeback. Tyson will face YouTube star Paul next month in a sanctioned bout, 19 years on from his retirement after suffering 3 defeats in his final 4 fights. He was already in a much declined condition when he elected to hang up his gloves, and his physical state has declined even since then. The legend will even be older than Ruddock, returning at the age of 58. In a seemingly uphill battle against 26-year-old Paul, a raft of health concerns has been voiced for Tyson, who will be underdog and a potential victim of a nasty knockout. He has attempted to prove doubters wrong, posting training footage of himself, despite admitting he was struggling with a full camp. Of course, it represents a significant payday for the legend, one that he is confident of winning.